What's up, everyone? I made a short the other day about this oil filter cutter tool that I bought on Amazon. It was 20 bucks. There's a tool that looks exactly like this thing that retails for like 95, close to 100. So I was really skeptical about buying it given the huge price difference, but this thing is phenomenal. Like, I'll put a link in the description for you guys. I did watch a YouTube video previously on how to cut oil filters open with some tin snips, and I tried that. But these Subaru Toyota filters are just too thick, and I didn't have much luck with it. And when I kept trying and I started kind of flaking away at the filter, I didn't want to risk getting metal contaminants in the filter, because that's what I'm trying to inspect. That's what I'm trying to look into the filter to see if there are any. And I didn't want to contribute to that, and then obviously negate the results of the filter. So with that being said, I've got the filter cut open now. This is the first filter off of my Toyota GR86. This is the one that came straight from the factory. When I changed the oil, when I took this filter off, it had about 1,000 miles on it. So we'll take a look and do a inspection on this filter to see if there's any RTV, any abnormal metal contaminants, and see if there's anything else trapped in the filter. And hopefully this will be helpful for you guys in the car community that are interested in the Toyota GR86 and or BRZ, as these things have a lot of engine troubles, RTV, pressure issues, things like that. So I'm just one of many YouTubers out here logging data, making videos to help the community out, to give you guys information about these cars. So without further ado, let's get you guys set up. I'll get some gloves on. We'll take a look at this filter. And excuse the mess. It was kind of crazy when I cut this filter open. I guess there was oil still stuck up in the top of the filter. These have like that backflow thing in them, but this oil filter has been draining for weeks, and even after that I cut it open, there was still oil, as you can see, all over my workbench, but all good. But this thing works amazing. Like, this little $20 tool made out of aluminum, really well built for what it is. I mean, this is $20 worth of material in my opinion, but it cleanly cuts the filter. As you can see, there's no shards, there's nothing from the actual cutting of the filter. So it doesn't impact the filter itself or give any contaminants like we're trying to inspect for. So let me get the camera mounted. I'll get us up to where I can show you guys the insides of this filter and see if we can find any contaminants. Okay guys, please mind the mess here. My workbench is a mess right now. Been working on a lot of different projects here lately, so I haven't had much time to really clean up and organize. That's the goal for the new year. But as I mentioned, we're going to be inspecting this oil filter from my Toyota GR86. Again, what we're looking for is any abnormal metal contaminants, RTV, things like that, that's inside the filter. I just cracked this filter open, as you can see, and I still got the mess on the workbench where all the oil came out. So I have not touched this filter whatsoever, and I'm going to do this in real time. So we're going to take the filter apart. We've got the filter here. I'm going to take it out of the cutter. Try to inspect this bottom portion here. We already took a look inside of this. Really didn't see anything. There is a little speck of the filter itself, or the casing. I think that happened when I broke free with the cutter. We'll take a look at the bottom of this just to see. I don't know if that comes up on camera very well, but everything looks clean. Really nothing in there. That's to be expected. You got the backflow preventer or valve sitting there, but all that looks really good. It's very sharp, as you can imagine. Now the important part, which is the actual filter itself. We'll take a look at the actual media, or the paper that's inside of this filter. Let's take a look. It honestly looks really good, just looking at the first opening there. I don't know how well that's coming out on camera. Trying to get as much light in there as I can for you guys, but let's see. Overall, this filter is very tight. I'm quite impressed. I've always been impressed with the Subaru and Toyota filters. They've always done really good for me, and I typically stick to their filters. But this just further confirms it. Really well built construction, has all the, you know, kind of additional features of like a premium filter, like a mobile one. Yeah, this filter looks really clean though. There is, if you can see in that, let me try to get a flashlight and I'll come back to you guys. In this particular pleat, there is a very small amount of RTV. So I want to try to show you guys that. All right, so if we can see down in that, see if that comes through for you guys. I don't know if you can still see it. You can see down in there, there are very faint amounts of RTV. But again, this being the filter that the car came with when it was built, there is to be expected some metals, particulates, thing like that from just the overall assembly. And truthfully, it's a good thing that it's in the filter, because that means the filter is doing its job and it's no longer in the engine swirling around. And it's very, very small trace amounts. And that seems to be the norm as I keep going in the pleats of this filter. But I'm not gonna keep you guys much longer. What I'll do is I'll go through the rest of this, come all the way back around, and then I'll come back to you guys and give you my final thoughts. All right, guys, I'm a little over halfway through checking all the pleats. You can see how it's all smushed together. And I just want to show you, hopefully this will come up on camera. That's probably the largest chunks of RTV that I found thus far in the filter, but I thought you guys may find that interesting. There are some larger chunks, larger relatively speaking, of course, inside the filter. But again, I'm glad they're in the filter and not in the car still. But this is, again, why so many of us are preaching, you know, do the break-in procedure, change the oil at 1,000 miles, get a fresh filter in there, get fresh oil in there in hopes of helping clean this stuff out. All right, guys, so we went all the way around this filter, and that was the worst that I saw. There are definitely tiny fragments of RTV all in this filter. Not enough to where I would say it's plugged or concerning or anything like that. But truthfully, given the fact that this is the filter, again, this car came with from the factory from Japan, has 1,000 miles worth of use on it, and it has picked up all that particulate. That's not bad. Again, given the fact that during the initial break-in period of a car, you expect some of the wear metals, things like that, to be a bit higher just because it is, you know, just getting used. It's getting broken in, hence the break-in period. With that being said, this oil was also sent to Blackstone, the oil that was in this filter and also in the car at the time that this filter was in use. It went to Blackstone, and if you haven't seen that video, my first video on the oil analysis for the GR86, it actually came back really well. They kind of said the same thing. Everything from the analysis perspective looked good based on the mileage of the car and the fact that it was still in its technically its break-in period. So we're going to continue to monitor it. I have another filter waiting to cut open that has more mileage on it this time, and it's past the break-in period. That's also the one that I had in the car during the NASA track event at Road Atlanta. So really interested to see what that one looks like, to see if there's anything alarming inside of that filter. So I'll make another video on that one here soon. And if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, put them down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching.